Hello everyone and welcome back to The Letter, where things have gotten really nuts like right out of the gate.
Man, it's all effed.
I kinda like that. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen next. A buzz breaks the silence. I start to rouse, pulled into consciousness against my own will. I've never felt this tired before. I just want to sleep, but the insistent buzzing, poking, and prodding isn't letting me. My old mattress may not be the comfiest of places, but that doesn't make me any more eager to wake up.
5 more minutes, Becca.
I swat away at what is nudging persistently at my side. Come on. Can I just get a few extra minutes of sleep today? I promise I'll work hard once I'm up. A hand lightly taps my cheek, and something cold is suddenly being pressed at the back of my head. The icy sensation slowly spreads throughout the area, giving me an uncomfortable feeling.
Isabella? Isabella? Stop. Can you hear me? Isabella?
The fog immediately lifts from my mind. The moment I recognize the voice and my eyes snap open. Oh, wait, I think we missed a... They're looking down at me as Rose. Another woman loiters beside her, but my attention is too focused on my co-agent to even ask why there's someone else with her. Rose's posture just screams worry, although she's keeping a straight face, or trying at least. I can't help but feel bad for making her fret. A wave of dizziness washes over me as soon as I try to get up, forcing me to lie back down again. Luckily, the feeling subsides after a few seconds, until only a mild throbbing somewhere at the back of my head remains. With a little assistance from Rose, I push myself upright. She hands me an ice pack and gestures for me to press it where I suspect a small bump has already formed, if the light ache in the area indicates anything.
All right, Isabella, where are we?
The Ermengarde mansion. Why? Ow, my head.
And the date today?
October 21st? Rose.
Last one. Can you count to 15 in reverse order?
15, 14, 13, 12, no, that's wrong. Why are we doing this?
She's just checking if your injury is in any way serious.
This time, I curiously regard the woman standing beside Rose. It's impossible to overlook her, what with the way she towers over us. And here I thought Rose is already tall. Who is she anyway? One of the remaining cleaning crews? With how primly dressed she is, I don't think anyone would want to clean in a suit, an expensive suit at that. The gloves alone must have already cost a fortune. Her eyes slowly shift between me and Rose, considering us with an almost unreadable expression before finally fixing a sharp gaze on me. I can't help but fold my arms protectively over myself as she does so. She may be far from a cleaning crew, but she certainly looks like our supervisor during evaluation.
Just do it, please.
I eye them both warily, but recite everything as she has asked. Rose releases a breath of relief once I'm done.
You scared me for a moment there. I was about to call for an ambulance. Are you all right?
Exasperation soon replaces the dull ache. The memory is a little fuzzy, but the attic? And
There was someone, Rose. In the attic.
Someone? You mean a client? Oh, that's unlikely. It's probably just one of the cleaning crews. The boss sent a few of them back this morning for some last minute...
No, not any of those. They're, I'm not actually sure. Wait, didn't I call you? You said you were in the attic when you answered. That's why I went there in the first place.
both Rose and the lady look at me like I've just grown another head. Did I say something weird? Rose quickly casts an apologetic smile at the woman before the awkward silence stretches on further. It's her saleswoman smile, the same one she taught me back when I was still her trainee. I should show this to troublesome clients or just avoid trouble in general, she advised. It's also the same one she gives me when I've done something particularly absurd that may cause us to lose a potential sale. Her eyes are serious when she turns back to me. She takes both of my shoulders gently, squeezes it, and with as much patience as she can muster.
As much as I'd love to have gotten at least a heads up of your arrival, I didn't really get a call from you. You know, signal here is absolutely horrendous. I was in the garden earlier and couldn't even make a single call. Isabella, I'm going to ask again. Are you really all right? What happened?
I don't know. It's all a bit blurry. I remember I was looking for you, but you weren't in the attic. And there's... whoever it is. Then I must have tripped on a rug or something on the way down. Oh no. Do you think someone came in while you were out? You left the main door open. We are so going to get into big trouble if something gets stolen, Rose.
Perhaps it is a concussion.
Are you sure you feel fine? We could still call for an ambulance. I could cover for you.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay, Rose. I can work.
Get the hell out of here, man.
Wait. Hold your horses, Rose. I can't just miss an important sale because of a minor bump on the head. An extremely minor bump. I've had worse when I was a kid. This is nothing.
Besides, if I leave, you'll have to shoulder everything in the open house. Alone. And in a mansion this big?
Well, there's also the part where I may lose that bonus BRC promise, but that's completely beside the point. Rose gives me a skeptical look when I return the cold compress to her and push myself off the floor. I have to use the staircase's railings to steady myself, but otherwise I feel fine.
I'm A-okay.
Do you forget what just happened?
The two of them exchange a worried glance, and Rose assumes a contemplative look. I bite my lower lip in anticipation. If she says no,
Right, you in.
a smile threatens to slip out from
If
me.
I see that you aren't feeling well, I'm taking you personally to the nearest clinic to have you checked. Clear?
Clear as day, ma'am. Thanks, Rose.
You insisted. But remember what I said. First sign of you looking not okay, and we're off. No questions asked.
It's just a small bump. Don't worry.
You shouldn't downplay these kinds of things. It could be a serious injury for all we know.
Suddenly a small cough sounds against the wall of the foyer, interrupting our banter. The woman is looking expectantly at the two of us, her stare making me shrink back a little in myself. She isn't really intimidating. Well,
What's up with her?
she is. But not in the scary negative way. Far from it, actually. Her demeanor simply commands an air of sophistication and respect. In a different world, a younger me would have probably wished to be like her. At our lack of response, she coughs again, lifting a well-trimmed eyebrow at me in question. Words get caught in my throat at the sight of it, and Rose, as usual, is swift to catch my
My
blunders.
sincerest apologies, Mrs.
Miss McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch.
She hands Rose her business card. The words interior designer catch my eyes before my partner flips it over. Oh, probably someone interested in the mansion for its 17th century influences then. I won't hold that against her though. Despite the hearsay and remaining uninhabited for years, the mansion's original fittings and furniture have been kept completely intact and restored to pristine condition. I suppose some people might find that trip to the past feeling appealing. After all, with what it offers, this place could also be a haven for people looking to live somewhere with a classic historical
Miss
charm.
McCullough, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We're just ironing out a few things, but we'll be starting the tour soon enough. In the meantime, we've prepared some refreshments for you in the parlor while you're waiting. If you could please.
Thanks. There's no need for it, though. I just dropped by for a quick survey of the place. I thought I should check the estate before I meet with the homeowners.
Rose's confusion is impossible to miss when she glances at me, and I return it with an equally perplexed look. And again, against my better judgment, I blurt out the first question that comes to mind.
I'm sorry. Homeowners?
I should have kept my mouth shut. A flash of irritation crosses her face, but instantly disappears under a mask of professional detachment.
Yes. Hannah Wright?
I was hired by her to handle the interior design for their newly bought home.
This is the Ermengarde mansion, right?
It is, but
She pauses, possibly trying to find the right words to fix the awkward situation without offending someone.
I don't know.
Suddenly, Rose nudges me with her elbow.
We'll check with our supervisor. I don't even understand like what the question is that warrants either one of these.
Yeah, all right, let's...
So the homeowner hired someone to do interior decorating, but we were hired to sell the place by the same homeowner, I'm assuming.
I guess? Question mark? I'm just gonna go, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's the best one.
We're sorry, ma'am. We don't really know what's going on here. If it's okay, maybe we can...
What of that? Oh, no.
Oh.
We did it bad.
Aren't you the ones in charge here? How can you not know what's going on here?
You see, Miss McCullough, right now, the house is...
Amazing how she can keep her voice level yet still convey utter displeasure with it. I've dealt with people acting the opposite before, and if I were to choose, it's much easier to handle clients who talk your ear off when angry. People like her are the hardest to read. Beside me, I shoot Rose a pleading look. She returns it with a glare before taking the reins from me and attempting to smooth out the situation. There's a promise in it that we will be talking about this later.
I don't
I'm not
understand.
looking forward to that at all. What can I do?
Saying we're going to talk to our supervisor didn't seem like the right effing question either, or answer.
Yeah. She can deal with this better than me. Who knows what might come out of my mouth if I handle this on my own.
We're really sorry, ma'am. My partner's probably still a bit winded from her fall.
If she's unwell, then she shouldn't be working here right now.
Kind of a bitch.
Yeah, geez. She raises a hand to rub the side of her temple as if to stave off the beginnings of a headache.
Never mind that. I just want to know what's going on here. I was led to believe that this house has already been bought by my client and my services are needed for the house's interior design.
Perhaps there's been a confusion then. We haven't heard anything from our supervisors regarding a closed deal for this property yet. In fact, today's only the first day of our open house. If you wish, we
guess
can
that
call them and confirm for you.
That wouldn't be necessary, but thank you for being direct with me, Miss Cooper. I already thought something was a little odd earlier. If you'll excuse me, I also have a call to make to my secretary.
With a slight wave of her hand, she leaves us. So she's here on the assumption that it was sold.
Yeah.
That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to our Luxembourg office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I will be very frustrated if for some reason something has already been decided without my or Rose's knowledge. That's a whole new level of unfair. We've been working hard on this. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated, but with an apology clear in her face. I feel a little sorry for her having to go through all this trouble.
There seems to have been a little misunderstanding with my client. If you'll allow it, I'd like to stay and wait for them here. I was informed they'll be dropping by for the open house today. I figured it'd be a waste to just leave after that long drive. I might as well meet him here.
Certainly. You could stay at the parlor in the meantime, ma'am. I'm sure it won't be long before our guests arrive. And, Isabella, I left a few documents in my car. You know where I keep those. Can you please get it for me?
Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a set of
And
keys.
hurry! We've still got a few minutes to double-check those papers.
Okay, got it.
The two of them disappear behind the parlor's door.
Okay.
The departure brings with it a stillness that keep me company, neither welcoming nor comforting. Alone like this, it's impossible not to think of what really happened. I wish the memory isn't as elusive as it normally is. Then again, Rose already said she didn't receive any call from me. Was it just paranoia? A temporary lapse after having heard all those tales about this place? Probably. I want to think of it as such. Better to think of it as such so I can work in peace. Except a small part of my mind begs to differ, and if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, I want nothing more than to leave this place as soon as possible. I don't know what's in this house, and I don't want to know. The keys Rose have just handed me dig into my palm, its jagged edges creating shallow ridges on my skin from how hard I'm clutching it.
Do we still have that letter?
Oh, yeah. Do we have like an inventory? I didn't see. No. Okay. It's a reminder of what I still need to do and why I've taken this job in the first place. Hugging my blazer closer to my body, I exit the house to get what Rose has asked of me. Just a few more hours, Isabella. Sell the house and get the money.
I would just freaking leave. What? You guys can keep the money. Thanks.
A flock of people have already gathered in front of the mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying color, compose the medium-sized crowd. Their necks, arms, and fingers are adorned with silver and gold, glinting in the afternoon sun. Some even have ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this. They're murmuring among themselves, looking at the estate's facade appraisingly, with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture.
My mansion's made completely out of 18-karat gold. Sorry, I was just mimicking some of the conversations I'm sure is happening.
Probably.
With a monocle.
Yeah, you can't have a conversation like that without a monocle. But most of it stops as Rose calls for their attention. They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella
You guys all have
Santos.
your insurance policies and wills up to date before you walk into this mansion.
No reason, and if you wanted to name us as beneficiaries, we wouldn't say no.
Nope.
We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor.
Hearing this, a few wander to me. They are mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs.
It's
fair.
so nice to finally meet you. When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you.
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
Oh, now who's all embarrassed?
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Oh, you know each other?
Not at all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh, yes, I think I did.
Ah, they must be the client she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere before. Some magazine? Or the television? I can't quite
Or
remember.
they kind of look like the stained glass window in the background
Oh.
in the mansion.
Can we go inside? I want to see now. But then again, most of our guests have likely ended up on the news one way or another. I wouldn't be surprised if these two already have. For people who are popular enough, though, they aren't dressed as loudly
That's what
as
I
the
call it.
others.
Gaudy is the word you're looking for?
And in their simplicity, the couple stands out. The woman in particular is stunning enough to turn heads of most people in my group, especially the men with wandering eyes. The guy standing beside her doesn't seem to mind, though. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumptions, I'd say he's basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. I'd think they are brother and sister if it wasn't for their public displays of affection. The matching rings on their fingers just cement the fact that they are indeed a couple.
Trying to
Whatever.
read the engraving on it and you went too fast.
Oh, shoot.
That's okay.
Couple or not, what's important is we get this deal closed before the current owners can even think of canceling the listing. I just hope one of the people in my or Rose's group is brave and generous enough to buy this mansion.
How much is this mansion?
That's a good question. And so, with papers in hand, I lead the way.
See the background?
Yeah, a little bit. When they aren't whispering among themselves or going ooh and ah over one thing or another, they ask questions. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answer them all. More than happy to talk about the art pieces and architecture mostly. However, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxborn knows about
Some
it.
of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals, all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty. Even the glass thing, colorful ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea, I hope. Especially that one,
Stained
ma'am.
glass.
It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancé of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde.
Uh-huh.
The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it. It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
By the time I've stopped talking, her attention is already elsewhere.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I can see the resemblance, for sure.
I also want to point out he looks like the dude in the background in that
In
picture.
the painting, yep.
Yep.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
Mom, you haven't finalized anything with an agent yet. I would really advise against making plans this early when...
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. We've got a wonderful legal team to handle everything. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move in.
The rest of their conversation gets lost in the chatter of our companions. I wonder, are these worth reading like as we go along?
Next. I think it's just like a synopsis of what was going on. So
Okay.
that's where she was unconscious. Today marked the open house. Luxembourg's most well-known couple, Luke and Hannah Wright, is their names.
Oh.
We are in the presence of them.
So if anyone knows if it's worth reading these as we go along, I wouldn't consider that a spoiler. That would actually be good to know. Or if you guys are interested. Okay. I don't want to make any assumptions yet, but their sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please, please let these guys be the one. Eventually, our group reaches the kitchen.
Snazzy old-looking kitchen.
That is a snazzy old looking kitchen. Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put into retaining the room's classical appeal. The open hearth at the end of the room in particular looks amazing, like the ones I've only seen in fairy tale books. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar staining the bricks and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull this off. Or make it look
The
presentable at least.
highlight of the room, however, is what's underneath this hatch here.
Oh, don't say anything yet. An underground wine cellar.
This is the first time the guy in gray speaks up, Mr. Luke Wright. My memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in this place. But this time something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the Undercroft. What's so interesting about a basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes. Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I've always found it cute whenever I see a child act this way, my younger siblings especially. On a grown man? It's almost funny.
Yes, sir. It could house around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
I would like to buy this place.
Truly.
Does it come
And the room.
with the wine?
How was it built?
The bricks that were used to build the cellar have been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in the room. It's a good place to keep your private collection in if you have one, sir.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
You know we're going to need
Talks with
space
their
for that,
hands
darling.
up like this.
Rich people.
Apparently, I'm just a poor commoner, because my god.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it. We were told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
There's a contemplative expression on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little.
You have to show interest by... There you go.
I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score!
Money.
Can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of the tour goes by without a hitch. After more than a half hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor and are heading to the parlor. Funny, the first time BRC had a survey of the property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just my excitement over a possible sale? When we reach the parlor, however, an odd feeling washes over me. It starts off as small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. Whispers in my ear and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. A dark silhouette there that are gone when I turn to look. A chill settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break out in a cold sweat. I can't do this. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can just...
Excuse me? Everyone? We will be taking a 15-minute rest here before we visit the first floor. In the meantime, please help yourselves to the refreshments and snacks we prepared. If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'd be happy to help you.
I let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think.
Oh, it's what you think.
I've probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I'm left alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer, until a hand taps my
Hello,
shoulder.
you there?
Yes, ma'am?
Oh, look at you. Having to show a group around a mansion this big must be exhausting.
Well,
Not a problem, ma'am. I'm just
Sorry,
doing
she's
my
trying
job.
her to-
What a hard worker. Anyway, Isabel, right?
Isabella, actually. But yes, what can I help you with, ma'am, right?
Please, just Hannah. Call me Hannah. I just wanted to ask, how soon are we able to move in?
My brain completely stops.
Have to sign.
The sick feeling plaguing me is suddenly gone, replaced by utter bewilderment.
Money?
Is this a joke?
Money?
She looks at me expectantly as I struggle to come up with an
Wait,
answer.
ma'am, you see, but we haven't even negotiated a price yet, ma'am. We haven't even finished touring the rest of the mansion. A sale would be great and all, but...
She stops me from speaking any further and puts a hand on my shoulder. For a moment, with her tight smile, she looks as if she has tasted a particularly sour lemon.
Please, sweetie, don't insult me. Money is not a problem. And, just between you and me, this place is better off with us than with some old lady who'll probably just fill it up with cats.
I like how her text box says, "Ma'am Hannah."
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having cats here, ma'am Hannah. I'm sure there's more than enough space here if you want pets.
Wonder if
Perhaps I'm
that's...
still not feeling well, but really, what's wrong with cats?
Seems like a very British production, so I'm wondering if that's like common, like, etiquette to say ma'am in their name instead of us, which is just ma'am.
Could be. More importantly, why is she talking about moving in already?
Well, I'm more of a dog person, but you
course you
see, this is going to be a gift to my darling. It's going to be our anniversary soon.
So, what are
And
you
it
gonna
would
need
be
for our
so
anniversary?
wonderful if you can secure its purchase for us.
It probably won't be a mansion.
Why, I can even offer something extra if you help us out with the paperwork.
We actually have a process for this, ma'am. I don't really think that would be necessary or appropriate.
And just what are you two lovely ladies talking about here? leaving me and our lovely interior designer to talk here by
It's
ourselves.
the lovely husband.
What would the people think, darling?
Oh, it's just small talk, love. I was asking if she could help me with the paperwork.
I try not to wince when her nails dig into my shoulder. I can't help but send an imploring look at Miss McCullough, who only looks away with a sigh.
Yeah, I can give you a fact sheet and a form to fill out.
She wastes no time in taking the papers from my hand and shuffles through the bunch. Oh man, Rose is going to be so angry at me for letting her do that.
Wonderful. And Marianne, I'd really love to talk to you about those changes. You took some notes earlier, yes?
I did, Mom. But I really hope that this time...
Excellent. Hopefully you can help us out too, Isabel.
Isabella.
Right. It's a lovely name, Isabel.
It's Isabella.
Yes, that's great. We'll be more than happy to put in a good word to your superiors too, and what's this?
Uh-oh.
What did she...
D-list horror prop. Uh-oh. It's the letter.
Uh-huh.
A look of confusion and disgust appears on her face. Turning to her husband, he merely shrugs in reply.
An interesting work of art. Not to my taste, though. I'm sorry.
Darling, Buttercup, art is a complete overstatement for this garbage. It looks like a cheap prop from a D-list
They're
horror
gonna piss
film.
the spirits off. They're gonna
Shush,
murder you.
love. Let the girl do what she pleases with, what do they call this? Oh, forget about it. At the very least, it's not as dreadful as the one art exhibit I was forced to
Do
attend
we have
last
this in our
month.
hand?
I'm wondering if it got mixed in with
You
the
should have
papers.
seen it, Marianne. Even you would have been appalled. But I'm sure you'll know what to do with our walls once we get started.
I highly doubt it is as bad as you say, Ma'am. Nevertheless, you can be assured that my team will only pick whatever suits your tastes. Nothing of this chain letter sort, of course. It has to always work with a palette.
I'm quite sure chain letters these days don't come in this form.
It's my turn to be puzzled. What do they mean? Rose and I double-checked everything. Are the papers I handed not enough? I want to ask what I did wrong. I don't want to mess this up. But with the way Ma'am Hana's leading the conversation, I'm afraid that's exactly what will happen if I do
That's
interrupt
good to
her.
hear. See, darling, isn't she an absolute delight to work with? I can't wait to see how this place will look when she's done with it.
Oh, you don't have to tell me that, Buttercup.
I literally want to punch them in the face.
Are you kidding? I love them. I think they're hilarious
Oh,
together.
honey darling and Buttercup this. Oh my god. Please tell me one of them's gonna get murdered.
I have a feeling we're all going to get murdered.
No, sweet.
A smile is back on her face when she turns to me and hands me a strange piece of
I
paper.
would still put it away if I were you, though. Otherwise, people might get the wrong impression. Anyway, as I was saying...
I don't hear the rest of what she says after that. I can only stare down at the paper, at the letter in my hands. The sides crinkle in my grip and my breathing grows labored. Dread quickly fills my
Isabella?
mind.
Isabella? Are you all right? You're looking pale.
Didn't even notice when Rose's group joined us in the parlor. I want nothing more than to say that no, I'm not all right. I want to leave this place because I remember everything as clear as day. This letter and that woman in the attic. It's
The
real.
letter. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Careless. I've been so careless. How do I even tell them that without looking like I've gone mad?
Oh crap.
Don't show?
Why? So we don't look nuts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rose,
Haha, we got points. The words are stuck in my throat.
Yeah, it's probably not good to look like a nutso in front of all the rich.
Yeah. I want to tell her, I really do. But is she going to believe me? She already dismissed me earlier. It's a concussion, she said. It's not. There really is something in this house, in that attic, in that letter. It's going to go after us. Please believe
Dear
me.
me. Is Isabel all right?
It's
Ma'am
Isabella.
Hana's voice breaks through the haze, beginning to cloud my mind. Rose is looking down at me, worry etched on her features. I didn't even notice when she removed the wrinkled paper from my hands and pushed me down to sit on a nearby chair. From the edge of my vision, I can also make out Miss McCullough asking a passing food server for a glass of water. Through it all, Mr. Wright stands in the sidelines. Although curious, he appears more inclined to watch the scene than help. They are all as likely to believe me as Rose does. To everyone, whatever's in this house is just a hoax, a cautionary tale for children.
Isabella, do you need me to call that ambulance?
She offers me a drink, but I push it away. I need to get out of here before I cause an even bigger commotion. Clear my head, take a breath of fresh air, anything to take my mind off things. No one is going to believe me anyway.
I'm just feeling a bit out of it. Excuse me. I'll be back. I just need to catch my breath.
Bowing my head, I mutter a quick apology and gather my stuff to make a quick exit. It doesn't matter if this place is haunted or not. I've caused trouble, and Rose can be quite unforgiving of behavior like this. I'm almost at the door when she catches up to me.
Isabella, wait!
The apprehension must have been quite obvious on my face because her expression instantly shifts to something gentler. Eyes softer, a fond smile spreading on her
Hey,
lips.
I'm not angry.
I know. I'm sorry I ruined this for you.
Come on, you didn't ruin anything. It's not like we haven't ran into any problems before. If we don't get a deal today, we can always try on a different day. And look.
She hesitates, completely trailing off before shifting a gaze down to her hands, a small gesture to stall. Her fingers are fiddling with a piece of folded paper. It's that stupid letter again. My hands stiffen when she gives it back, but I take it nevertheless. More as an automatic response than any desire to have it back. I'll throw it away if I can. But I have this nagging feeling that one way or another, it'll find its way back to me regardless of what I do
Rose,
about it.
this is... You have to let them know about...
I know you want us to get this sale so badly. And we've made a lot of plans on how to go about this. I mean, who wouldn't? This is the first time I've been assigned to a property like this.
Don't sell the murder
I've
house.
sold
Rule
plenty
number
of
one in real
houses
estate.
before, but nothing like what we have here. It's a beautiful house. I'd love to get one of my own if I ever win the lottery, but...
No thanks. You can keep your
I
haunted
think-
mansion.
Look, here's the thing, Isabella. If we are going to do this, work on something, I don't know, this big, I need you in top shape. And the way you are now...
My mind
What?
stops.
Wait, no, I can still work. I just need to get myself together.
That's what you said earlier. I let it go because I thought, hey, it's your own body and you should know more than anyone how you feel. But after this, I really think you should take a break.
You're kicking me out?
No, I'm not. Look,
Yes, she
all
is.
I'm asking is for you to take a seat somewhere I can see you and let me handle this for now. You're clearly not yourself, and I honestly could use some time not worrying when you'll fall over or not. The
Wow.
day's not even over, and I'm already feeling the stress.
I see who you care about more.
Please, humor me just this once.
She clasps her hands together in front of her, eyes pleading for understanding. And I do understand, to some extent. That doesn't mean I'll feel any less awful. Whether myself at the unlucky turn of the situation is taken, or for her, I don't really
I
know.
promise I'll give you a full report of what happens after. I'll even let you take the lead tomorrow.
Fine. Okay. I'll step aside for now.
You're upset.
A little, yeah, obviously.
If it's any consolation, I won't tell the boss about today. You know how he
This
is.
is ridiculous.
Please don't.
I fell down.
I don't want a
freaking
repeat of the lecture
stairs
I got
and
during
hit
my
damn
first
head.
assignment.
That's all you guys have to say about this.
He called me a noob. And I don't even know what that means.
At the memory, we both burst into helpless giggles, earning us strange looks from the guests milling about the door. Talking and laughing like this, it's easy to forget any mishaps that happened. Little things you learn to appreciate, I
So,
guess.
Are we good?
No.
Still not okay with this, but Rose has a point. It's better for me to step out of this one
I
for
won't
now.
be able to help you anyways if I keep getting distracted like this. Maybe I'll just take a walk outside or something while I wait for you to wrap things up.
Please, just stay put. I insist.
I'm not an invalid, Rose.
You clearly have not seen how you looked earlier.
You two drive
It's
me
not
nuts.
that bad.
Color hasn't even returned to your cheeks yet. Just stay here, all right? Don't even think of going
Just don't
anywhere.
leave me alone.
Let me finish
Right.
what I'm doing here, and then I'll take you back to Luxembourg myself to have that minor bump checked. At least wait for me to call someone who will fetch you, okay?
She's gone before I can voice one word of complaint. Left with nothing else to do, I find myself drifting back to the foyer. And that's where we'll call it for today.
Murder house.
Murder house for sure. All right, so the letter came back to us.
Yep.
Which
I still think that creepy, annoying, rich, lovey-dovey couple look exactly like those pictures.
yeah, there is definitely a lot of resemblance. I don't know if maybe that's not intentional, but I can definitely see it.
I can do.
We'll just have to see how this goes. So that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.